Okay, good evening. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thanks for joining tonight. Happy Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday, because it's not over yet, guys. Good deal. Perfect right there. Okay, hey guys, good evening. Thanks for joining tonight. We got a lot of people. Wow, we got a lot of people. That's early in the chat. We got a lot of people in the chat waiting. It's almost like Yaesu was a popular radio or something. I don't know. Now, if we're talking about Baofeng, we would have had at least 1,500 people by now, but no, I'm kidding. But hey, special shout out to all the folks in green text in the chat. I see Andy in there, YouTube channel members. Brian's in there. Other Andy is in there. AC3IK Ed is in there. Saw some of you guys talking earlier, so thanks for joining. And sorry about last night. I did N9UPC hit me up, and I think Shane K5QBF hit me up, and they're like, "Hey man, I created this stream yesterday, and I scheduled it for last night by mistake. It was supposed to. I always stream on Sunday nights. I was trying to be proactive and get stuff done early for a change, and I clicked on the wrong date. So, yeah, y'all should have known that I wasn't going to stream at the exact same time that Josh did, but it's all good. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight, guys. Appreciate the support. We are going to be talking about Yaesu stuff, which if you watched my live stream last Wednesday or any of my Black Friday videos, you should already know that there's a big Yaesu. I don't know if it's a sale or if it's all the manufacturers do rebate coupons, instant rebate coupons periodically throughout the year. So I don't know if you could call this a sale. It's suspicious that it's happened during Black Friday, so I think it's a sale. But John will kind of define it for us here in a minute. So you guys be sure and thank him for joining the live stream when you see him the next time. So one couple quick things real fast. So I've mentioned this. The battery boxes on Gigaparts are still on sale. I think they will go back to regular price at the end of November. And it wouldn't surprise me to see them on sale again sometime around Christmas or between the week of Christmas and New Year's. But I don't know. I don't know that for 100%. So they're $20 off right now. You can get an additional 5% off with the coupon code of KC5HWB. So that's going on right now. And Signal Stuff has their Black Friday sale right here going on as well. Now, I shared both of these links in my email that went out 4 hours ago. If you're not on my email list, you should be. We'll share that link here in a minute. So I get notifications when people click on links from the email. So I know a lot of you guys are clicking on this stuff. So this is the Signal Stuff sale right now, and these are of course are made by Ham Study, and they do the exam tool software that many clubs are using now to give ham radio tests to get your license the first time. So be sure to check them out. There's a link there to them. That's for Signal Stick. Here's the battery box right here, and there you go. And those are those two links there. And sometime, okay, here it is right here. Sometime during the live stream, like probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to go live with some new battery boxes on my website. Or I'm sorry, not battery boxes, mystery boxes on my website. So mystery boxes will be going live here shortly, sometime during this live stream. So you guys pay attention to the live stream, please. But yeah, that's going to be a thing. I put together 55 new boxes yesterday. I haven't filled them all yet, but I put together the boxes, and those are going up on the website shortly. So that's where we're going there. Okay, let's bring the guest of honor on, and it's not Frank. Frank is not the guest of honor, but he's there with John. What's going on, guys?
How's everybody going? Or how's everybody doing? I'm still comatose from turkey. So.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. We had a great turkey. We have a guy that lives in the neighborhood that does commercial smoking or commercial barbecue smoking. He has one of those pull behind trailers. So he was taking orders last week. So my wife's like, let's get a smoked turkey. And I'm like, yes, it was great. It was fantastic.
Sounds awesome. And
totally.
Come on. I am the guest of honor as always. Our co-host of honor. Let's use that. There we go.
Co-host of honor is good. I can live with that. Yeah.
The Andy to the Cohen.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, the Andy to the Cohen. That's good.
Evan has asked me, no stream tonight.
Right.
I did drop a video in my regular time slot, and it is a pre-recorded pre-stream because I didn't know what time I was getting back to the house from Thanksgiving Day. I did a POTA activation, and that was fun down at Cedar Hill State Park. And if you said the magic word Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Sapphire. I'm sending you a Sapphire sticker with the QSL card. So
cool.
I'll get that be going in a second, and just returning from the family and the holidays. So
cool, man.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Did 100 and almost 20 contacts in an hour plus. The only issue was for the feedback somewhere. Don't know where it's coming from. Locked up my computer 3 times. Never had that happen before, and I need to figure out where it's coming from. So
interesting.
I bought a bunch of different Faraday clamps that I'm just gonna put them on there. See if we can figure that out.
You were using your Yaesu. I know you were
I was using the Yaesu. Yep, Yaesu FTDX10 running 100 watts. Through the Coffee and Ham radio antenna. It worked amazingly, and other than the feedback, and I can't blame the radio for that. It was just
that's something else. That's something else weird with that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey man, thanks for being here. TC Fitz, thank you for the super chat. Evan, thank you for the super chat. Evan says, John, it's your fault that I'm a new owner of an FT5 and an FTM 500. So there you go.
He's in the sharing circle, so we'll allow that.
Okay. All right, that's good.
And as always, I'm watching the chat for questions tonight.
Right. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you being here, man. Okay, so if you guys did not see my one of my videos on the Black Friday stuff, I've done 3 or 4 now, something like that. So if you haven't seen that yet, I've been mentioning how, and it was kind of a surprise to me. I pulled up Gigaparts' website. Gigaparts is a big supporter. You guys know that, RNL Electronics. And we did some HRO stuff. I did some HRO, put them on my video on Friday. But Yaesu has something. What do you want to call it, John? What's the official term we should be using?
We actually call them the holiday special. And it really is because like, a lot of people, you kind of sit on there too. We do have coupons and sales and promotions, through the year and everything. But what we did with this one is we really sat, we looked at it, we listened to what people wanted. And, like any sale, it lasts for so long and then it stops, right? And what a lot of people are saying was, hey, John, hey, Yaesu, we're seeing this radio. I like this radio. I like this radio. And this is from customers too. And they're saying, man, I missed out on this deal. Are you going to have another special? What are you going to do? And more importantly, we were actually taking a listen to the feedback of what people are wanting the radios to use. And good example on some of our specials is that if you check what we did early in the year, because I know some people keep track on this, we were offering some instant coupons. But if you noticed in this special that we're doing, which is going through, by the way, we're just not doing this for Black Friday. We're not doing this just for Christmas. We're sending this all the way through January 31st of next year.
I did see that.
We added on to some coupons that were already out there, and then we brought back some coupons so that people could actually get into radios that they want to use, that kind of thing like that on there.
Good. Yeah, the thing that caught my eye first, well, somebody brought to my attention the fact that the FT5 was on sale for $329, and I think, was it HRO or was it everybody that at Hamvention last year was blowing them out, that like on Sunday of Hamvention had them for like $300.
And, it was good last year. Hamvention was weird last year because we gave, once again, it's kind of like what we have happen here. We gave some discounts, but then the great support of our dealers, and this is why I do love our dealers. they were actually adding on stuff to what we were already offering, which brought a lot of these prices lower, much to our surprise, even in the office.
Okay. And I guess that's totally, I mean, to a certain degree, they have to check with you guys before they do stuff like that, I assume. But yeah, I mean, because there's MAPs and that kind of stuff on all this, on most of these, especially the newer radios. But
we actually don't have
do you
MAPs.
Not?
No, we
Okay.
don't. We don't have MAPs. The amateur market kind of self-regulates itself pretty well.
Yeah.
But realistically, a lot of people are happy with the Yaesu product line. All of to point it out, of the radios that we have in there, we have out of the Sherwood report list in 3 of the radios that are in the top 4 of the Sherwood report list. And as a matter of fact, the number 1 radio is also in there too. So number 1, 3, and 4 all have these instant coupons from us, as well as what dealers have also put on it too, just to make sure people can get the stuff in, because what comes up in January, right around the corner, that's going to be upon us, is Winter Field Day.
Yes, true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so the FT5, obviously flagship HT, probably the best HT on the market right now. Although Kenwood's going to give you some competition next month, I think. But honestly, the FT5, I own a 9052. I've got the Anytone, the top of the line Anytone, but my FT5 is honestly probably my favorite HT because of all the APRS stuff that it does, and that's one thing that I really do enjoy about it. So yeah, that's good. So I saw that on sale, and then of course the thing that really caught my eye on my Wednesday live stream, we were just poking around inside the Gigaparts website, and my gosh, that FT710 Field right now for under $800.
Yep,
that's a steal right now.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, that's got to be wrong. So I pulled up HRO. I'm like, no, they got it for the same price. I'm like, no, that's right, apparently. So yeah. So how but I know that it's not everything. So which ones are we seeing right now, and which ones? Because I know the 891, much to some people's chagrin, is not on sale, or at least I thought that was correct. But yeah, the 710, the FT5, and what else have you got for us?
So we started out with, we looked at it and we increased the instant coupons on our FTDX 101 series.
Okay.
So the MP version, which is a full 200 watt version, pretty much all the bells and whistles that you can have in the FTDX 101 series, that's at, of course, $650 from us to the dealers. And I guess I want to stress, too, a lot of people don't understand this, but these are what they call instant coupons. So it's not a mail-in rebate. It's not anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's what it is right off there. And then we also did the FTDX 101D. So those are both $650. Then by popular demand, we brought back the FTDX 10. So the FTDX 10 actually was on sale up until about September. And then in September, that sale, that special kind of ended. And a lot of people are saying, in October and through the beginning part of November, I'm looking for one. It's at a great price, but man, it would be really nice if you could help out, more. And we looked at it and we said, okay, let's bring that back. We'll do $100 on that one. And then both versions of the 710. Yeah. Now, there's been a lot of confusion out there about the 710 and the 2 different versions that are out there. So what we did is we made it really easy for everybody. We're offering, of course, the $200 instant coupon on that to the dealers. So that means they take $200 off their normal price, and then, of course, whatever else they add. But the difference between the AESS and the Field is the AESS comes with the additional speaker, whereas the Field unit does not, but it comes with the hand carrying strap. So that's really the 2. But hey, if you don't need the extra speaker, get the Field. Still great discount off of. If you want the AESS speaker, I love my speaker on mine, to be honest with you. Yeah. Same price, still an additional $200 off. And then that aspect of the Fusion line. So yes, we have the FTM 500D, that's $150 off. And of course the FT5D, that's $40 off. And once again, in addition to everybody else, like I said, I woke up Wednesday morning, so we sent this out, got it going and everything like that. And of course, I'm in the Central District, so I woke up and I had my normal cup of coffee, and I always joke around and I say, I know what the day is going to bring by what emails I see come in overnight. And usually within the first hour of the day. So sitting at 8 a.m. Central Time, all of a sudden I start to see this bing, 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 bing pop up, and I'm like, this is going to be an interesting day. Considering that we closed early, we actually closed at 2 on Wednesday, as you know, for holiday break and everything like that on there. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a very interesting week.
Yes,
interesting week.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the question that I get oftentimes myself is, hey, what kind of deals are we going to see on fill in the blank with the radio? I think one of the newest ones that I've heard about is the 710 was mentioned, and the 500 was mentioned, and then I think that there was something else that was mentioned that was brand new, and I was like, it's not a radio, but that new power supply that Rig Expert just came out with that Gigaparts says, they're like, hey, are we gonna see a sale on that? I'm like, guys, it's brand spanking new. I mean, they're like, that's the best time to buy a piece of equipment when it's brand new because everybody wants it, right? So I wouldn't
perfect time to put it on sale.
Well, yeah, if you want to lose money because everybody's going to buy it regardless. So I'm often, when the 705 came out, people were talking about, hey, is it going to go on sale for Black Friday? I'm like, I doubt it. I mean, why would it? So I was pleasantly surprised to see that the newer radios, the 500, I think, is your newest one out of everything. I think.
Yeah, the 500 was actually introduced around Dayton. We were working on it. We were beta testing in it since about February and stuff like that. And then it actually technically it hit at the end of April, just right before Hamvention, and then it came out. But I know we had a lot of people that wrote in and like, is there something wrong with the 500? I mean, it's not even a year old and you're already offering the discount. And to be honest with you, what it is that it's such a popular, well-designed mobile radio that we wanted to make sure that it was in a price range that people could afford this, this holiday season.
Right. That's great. And to circle back to something you said a minute ago, I was going to touch on this because I did get this question in my live stream. You can add, and I already know the answer to this, but I'm just saying this for the audience. You can add the speaker to the field model later on if you want to. It just simply doesn't come with it. Someone asked that question, and they're like, is it attached to the side of the radio in such a way where you can't add it to another? And it was like, no. In fact, if you watched my video with John when that radio was new, you can mount that speaker on either side of the radio.
Correct.
So, yeah. So so you can pick up the field radio now and then wait a few months until you have an extra $100 or so and add the speaker to it if you wish.
Couple of questions real fast here.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
You mentioned HRO, and is there an issue with the coupon on HRO's website? Ghostman is asking about it.
On which radio?
On the 500. What's the deal with the coupon for the 500 on the HRO website?
That's a good. I guess I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to ask HRO.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. A lot of people, we did have a few people say that I don't think my dealer gave me, because I got emails like Wednesday and then some on Friday and even this weekend saying, hey, I don't think my dealer gave me your discount on there and stuff. You got to really kind of watch, because some of the dealers, kind of all the dealers, they'll kind of like list the final price on there after the discounts we give from Yaesu, plus also the discounts they give. So I know I had a few people say like, oh, like the 500, I think someone said that was like a $450. Like I can get that for 300, but they didn't give it to me for no. Click into it. Read, guys, got to read the fine print, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So I just pulled up the HRO website, and if you look at it, it says, if you look at the top here, it says regular price $649. And then here's the Yaesu manufacturer instant coupon that says through the end of January 24, like John just said. And there's an HRO 2023 holiday savings event, which is an extra $40 for the total of $459. I think that's
showing in stock right now.
It shows out of stock. No, it does not. It shows out of stock. Delivery will be delayed.
Do you know when that's going to happen, John? That was another question from the chat.
We anticipated a lot, and we have a lot of shipments that are coming in right now. That are and we knew. I'll be honest with you. We knew that the radios were going to be flying off the shelves. We didn't realize they were going to fly off that fast. I mean, we offered a good price, and you always hope for the best,
you hope for
the worst, right?
Yeah, I got you.
The other way, but I know we have many additional units that are coming in. We looked at it even over the weekend and stuff like that here, and kind of had an updated meeting and stuff like that. So we have them that are coming in right away as fast as we can. And I'm not sure about the exact turnaround time. I could tell you that people have asked, they said, well, will I be guaranteed one and stuff? yes, if you buy it with the dealer, you get put into the waiting queue for the dealers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that waiting queue is, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a lot of people, usually if something's back ordered, when are you guys getting some? We don't tell anybody because we don't know, the status of, who's in line for the dealers and stuff, but we are busting butt to get them out.
Okay. Good. Yeah. All right. So I don't like to do this. I really don't. I've said this before, and those of you who watch me, I don't like to do this. And maybe I missed something on the HRO page. Okay. But you guys know that I support Gigaparts. So I pulled up their website just now to look at it and see. Okay, and Gigaparts has it. Gigaparts has it for $429 right now, and it said $459 at the HRO website. I'm really not trying to pit these guys against one another. I'm really not. Okay, but it says $459 on HRO right now, and then if we go back over here to Gigaparts, it says $429, and it also says reserve yours now, ships in 7 to 14 days on Gigaparts, and HRO just says out of stock. So, and maybe they're shipping the same price. Now Gigaparts' regular price is higher. No, it's lower too. I don't think that's right though. But anyway, so it's showing shipping in about a week, 1 to 2 weeks at Gigaparts, and it's a little bit cheaper. But somebody in the chat just said, Evan said he got his at HRO. Or no, he's talking about the 5. Yeah. No, this is right. I'm reading too many chats right now. He got his at HRO for $429. And he ordered it on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. So, yeah. So I suspect that they're probably the same price. It's just like John said, some of these websites are a little bit, you got to read the fine print and whatnot. So, but yeah, check. Somebody asked, should I buy here or should I buy there? You know what? And what I tell people is go buy them at the website. Go buy them from the company that doesn't charge sales tax in the state where you live. If you live in Ohio, seriously, if you live in Ohio or Florida, you're screwed. Because you guys are homes of the 2 biggest ham fests, and probably everybody charges sales tax there because every vendor goes there. But if you live in like Montana, you can probably find one of these websites that doesn't charge state sales tax. So that's kind of a neat thing. But I mean that's just you guys know which websites I support, but go buy it from wherever you want to because they're all kind of the same thing. Good. All right, Frank. What John? Let me let you continue.
Some of your super chats because you got a couple of super chats real fast.
I mentioned, let's see. Okay, so Eric, yeah, I brought this one up. Eric Hawking, says, it is your day, John, it is your day that I got a Raspberry Pi 4B and an MDVM board to run WPSD Pi Star with a brand new FT5. Got it from HRO for Black Friday. So there you go. He bought that. And then, Eric, same Eric. Thank you for the 2 super chats. HRO should allow you to back order if they are sold out. Yes, I believe that is that is correct. So yeah, good. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. So we'll. Do we have any more questions now, Frank, or can we continue?
Go ahead and continue. Okay. Not really on topic, but I do have some questions I'm saving off for later.
Okay. Cool. All right. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No. That's like I said, that's the great part about it. And like I tell people, we tell people like, who should I buy and stuff. I always tell people, go with the dealer that you love, the most on there. Mm-hmm. We love all of our dealers. Great. I really got to say, coming from the public safety side, and when I used to work, on the public safety side with, kind of in this role, but with like business and police, fire, EMS type radios and stuff like that, with the dealers, they were all kind of like against one another and stuff, which obviously dealers have to be, right?
Well, yeah, to a certain degree, sure.
Yeah, and it was always, those kind of things. When I came over to amateur, I was kind of bracing myself for it, but I do have to say all of our Yaesu dealers, and I want to stress the authorized dealers, are the ones that are giving you these discounts, the ones that are working with you and stuff. And if you are wondering, because we have some places out there, and that unfortunately we get this a lot. I mean, I guess, impersonation is the sincere form of how's that
flattery.
Flattery. There you go.
Yeah, sincere form of flattery.
Yeah, and what we've been having is a lot of people that I did get emails of like, hey, I just bought this radio off of like Amazon, or I bought this. How do I get this instant coupon? How do I get this deal? Well, you probably didn't buy from an instant, or you didn't probably buy from one of the authorized dealers. That's why you're not going to get the instant coupon. Mm-hmm. But I always tell people, if you're wondering, hey, where's my nearest Yaesu dealer? or maybe you want to check out a new dealer. If you go to our Yaesu.com webpage, you can click on find a dealer. So right away at the top, there will be like find a dealer or locate a dealer. You can click on that and it will tell you all the dealers that are out there. We all know some big ones like Gigaparts, very well known down in the South out there. You have HRO, no nationwide. You have DX Engineering, very popular, very big in the DX side of things on there. You have R&L, love Roger and his crew there, especially at Hamvention, go over there, and say, hey man, how's it going and stuff. You've got, we actually have a few more of them and on their thing there, but definitely go to there and find out what it is. And like I said, these specials are going to go on to the 31st. And I know people I've seen kind of in chat there, are we looking at doing anything on the 991? Are we looking at doing anything on an 891? Not really right now. These are the ones that we've kind of just focused on because they're the ones that are really kind of in the big high demand right now. So,
okay. That surprises me to hear you. So are you saying that the 891 is not in high demand? Or just not comparatively?
Not comparatively. This year, each year we sit back, and this is a lot of people ask, like, and I've had people come up to me and go, what drunken idiot decided to do your sales? And we're like, okay, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right.
but what we do is we kind of take a look at the trend. We kind of see what's trying to go on and trying to base our sales and stuff on like kind of what's going on there. This time of the year, yes, there are POTAs, there are sodas, there are different things, and y'all warm client people down there, up here instead of 19 degrees and snow today. But besides that point, we kind of take a look at it, and right now with a lot of the DXpeditions that are coming in, people are looking for base radios right now. They're trying to get set for the year and stuff like that. And a lot of people save up the cash, save up the money, because there's two big really buying times of the year for amateur radios, right? May with Hamvention and Christmas time. So we wanted to make sure that people had the chance to go into it. We always get a lot of feedback from our customers. We do. A lot of people think we just in one ear out the other, but we don't. And a lot of people say, we like to gear up for winter field day. Winter field day. I've had numerous people say, I'm not going to be like out in the sun and in a tent with my 891 or my 991. I want to be kind of maybe sitting at home, in there and using the big Cadillac rigs. And that's where the 101 comes in, the FTDX10 comes in, the 710 on there. Plus, we also are actually going to be doing some more education coming up pretty quick here on our YouTube channel, dealing with the 710, dealing with the FTDX10 on there. Just so people can start to become more friendly with it, to be able to explore the radio a little bit more and understand what's going on with it. When it came into the 500 and the FT5, a lot of people want a high quality mobile this year, and they want a high quality HT. And that's where we said, okay, hey, you guys asked, and this is what we were able to give you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, good. I totally agree. In fact, speaking of Roger at R&L, he told me back when they were taking pre-orders for the FTM 500 right before it finally released, he said that was one of the most pre-ordered radios that he'd ever taken orders for since he's been in the business a decade or two. And he's like, yeah, there was more people that ordered the FTM 500 than any radio in the past. And I thought that was interesting. But as far as the, people are talking about an 857 replacement. And of course, we're going to get we've gotten when are we getting an 818 or 705 competitor, typical. This is not the first time John's been on the channel, guys. So all of these,
speculation for later.
Yeah. Okay. We can let John talk about that to a certain degree that he wants to, but these are not new questions. But circling back to the 891 for a second, and I've said this before several times, it is like the only radio in its class right now, because it is the only full power 100-watt radio that is that size. Yep. Yes, you've got, and ICOM just re-released the 7100. I don't think they really made any changes to it. But the 7100 is not as compact. It's smaller. It's got a larger head, larger screen. It's got a screen you can't attach to the radio. These are just facts. I'm not trying to say it's a bad radio. It's a great radio. But the FT891, there's nothing else like it on the market right now, sadly, because Kenwood and Yaesu used to have 3 or 4 models, and ICOM used to have a couple of smaller models, and there's nothing else that's out there right now. So I would think that the I think that 891 remain popular for as long as you guys have that market cornered. But I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of my guess. That's why I asked that question about it.
Well, here's an interesting part about the 891. So the 891 was actually introduced in 2017. So it was actually it was kind of the beginning of the year. The first big show that we had was actually over April Fool's weekend. It was at the NVCon in Las Vegas when they still had that going on. And it was one of kind of the first shows that I actually had done with Yaesu. And there was this radio out there. And at the time, the 857 was still in production. Right. And we had a lot of people that came up to us and they're saying, well, why did you just release this? Is stupid of you. And what we had was a lot of people that said, yeah, I like the 857, but they said for the size of it, for everything like that on there, I'm not using the VHF, UHF that much. The VHF was good high power, but the UHF was a little bit lower power on there. So people were saying, I just wanted a mobile HF radio, small, compact. So it had been out there for a while. But if you actually take a look at it, the unique thing about the 891, which some people may not understand or may actually gloss over, is all you really need is a power source. And then that thing is pretty self-sufficient. If you pair it with our ATAS 120, you're going to get basically 40 meters all the way through 6 meters on the ATAS 120 antenna. Don't need an external tuner. Don't need anything like that whatsoever. You just need a power supply for the radio. I know a lot of people use God, there's so many different ones that are coming out there now. Like I know like Bioeno has one, all these kind of things. I'm near Cabela, so I actually buy the trolling motor, LiPo 4 or LiPo 4, whatever. Anyways, all those there on there. But I mean, it really is I'm going to take this, go off grid, off the middle of nowhere, and really kind of use that radio. And I think that's where that really big popularity comes into play. In addition, it has a detachable head. So with it, right away, you're off bat. You can use it in the Go kit and everything like that. So that's why that 891 really kind of fits that bill and kind of takes it on there. And it's become really popular.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's definitely, and it's got better, correct me if I'm wrong here, it's got better HF filtering than the 857 did, just due to it how much newer it is.
Correct. Actually, when you looked at the 857, and this was kind of an interesting thing that I found out, of course, when I started and stuff. So the 857 had a good TXCO and had some good filtering, but you could buy an upgraded TXCO and you could buy upgraded filtering. That came standard with the 891. And the reason it became standard with the 891 is when you eliminate the VHF and UHF circuitry in that all band, all mode 857, you actually gain a lot of room to put things, but you can also reduce the size. That's why the 891 is so much smaller and a better performer than the 857 was.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, everybody, and I like the Shack in the Box radios. I really do. I like my IC 7000. I have an 897 that I picked up used last year, and I've only used it a couple times, but I'm like, that's just such a great radio. I'm just gonna keep it. But everybody likes that. But you could definitely get more, better performance out of a radio when you have less stuff in the box like that. I get that. That's cool. Okay. All right. Let's see. Frank, what kind of questions do we have besides the standard ones?
The standard ones. I'm moving speculation down and the recommendations. I do have y'all's questions down, so don't think I skipped over y'all.
I love speculation.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll save that till later because
that
derails everything.
Yeah. And it's not, like I said, it's not the first time all these questions have been asked. I'm sure when I hit him up the other day, I said, hey, do you want to come on the show? He thought, oh, crap, I'm going to have to answer the same questions over and over again. But but you guys thank John for being here. But do we have anything that doesn't fit in that category, Frank?
Let's just read this one.
If we don't, that's okay.
I have an FTDR and the FTM 500. I'm using the FT 3000 now. That no new. How do you upgrade that? I'm that one.
You butchered that one.
No, that one I read that straight. I have FTDR5 and the FTM 500. I'm using the FTDX 300 that no new. I'm sorry, Ken.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not getting that.
Try again.
Yeah. Try typing it again.
Because the question is he asking about firmware on the FTDX 3000, which was our older HF radios, or is he asking something on the FTM 300, which is the next level down from the 500?
Oh, talking about firmware, man. I did a firmware update video. I think it was my last big video I released, and Jesus Christ, that was the easiest firmware update I've ever done.
On which one?
FTDX 10.
The
10. Yep.
I'm just like, I walked through the steps. I was like, that can't be it. Because literally copy the files to the SD card, plug the SD card in the radio. The radio is like, oh, I see a firmware update. Do you want to update? Which updates do you want to apply? Do. Okay. And I got comments on that video was, did you really need to make that video? You know how easy that is? Read the README and it's a simple walkthrough. But my response is, how many of us actually read the READMEs, or we just Google what's the latest update and how to do it?
Yep. And interesting you bring that up, Tank, because the 101 was where we kind of started that. We carried it on to the FTDX 10. We did it with the FT710. And for those that we dropped the FTM 500 firmware this week too. So it's really been a busy week for me. You do the update with the SD card also.
Okay, so that was one of the things that that you wanted to talk about tonight, John, was the FTM. That just came out last week?
Yeah, it just came out last week. We literally announced the deals, and then that same day I was like, okay, we got to announce this also too. So then it was like, oh boy. Okay. So I actually shut my phone off over Thanksgiving. So because I turned it on and all of a sudden it was like missed call. But we did do it. Now I'm going to start out by this. If you thought the 500 was amazing, it's even amazinger.
Okay.
Conjugated form of most amazing.
That means I got to go upgrade now. Okay.
You got to go upgrade. So first of all, we released the ADMS 16 software. That's the software for the FTM 500. Now, people are saying, when is it going to come out? When is it going to come out? When is it going to come out? Well,
programming software.
Programming software. Yes, correct. Programming software
just
for the
make
radio.
sure I'm following you. Okay, I got you.
Now, the reason we waited on it for our software is because we knew we were going to be releasing some updates. We don't, and to clarify, just a reminder for everybody, broken record time, we don't release firmware updates like on a certain time. Like we don't release them every November or something like that. We release them when it's kind of cumulative. But I just want to go through some of them because I know, Jason, you're going to love a few of them. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
And there's other people that I've already had that have sent me an email going, Jesus, John, you listen to me. And I said, yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
If you want to use the new ADMS 16 software, you are going to have to update the firmware. You're going to have to. Now, here's the reason why. So we did this big improvement, and that is allowing independent operation of the main and the sub volume controls when using the AESS. So previously, what is that the audio path to do AESS, you need two speakers for AESS. One speaker is going to concentrate on the high range and the upper mid range. One's going to concentrate on the lower mid range and the low range. What happened was it took the two audio paths. So if you didn't have it in single mode, so basically you had the main and the sub both open, and you had a different frequency on the sub, what was going to happen is that was going to come through. So we were able to correct a few things and turn audio paths off. So now you have that in the main and the sub version on there.
Nice.
Okay. Now here's the next big one. Ready? The next big one that we have that a lot of people are enjoying on is that we added a JPEG import function so that if you can go ahead and import the equivalent of a QVGA size or smaller. So kind of think of picture size of like the old cell phone guys. Okay.
Right.
Okay. If you can import that onto the SD card, you can bring it up on the FTM 500 now for image viewing or message transmission.
Interesting. Can you go over that QVC? What was that? And can you go into it a little bit?
So the QVGA size, I think that's like someone will know it in the chat. I can't remember it on the top of my head, but it's like 320 by
320. 320. So it's half a 640 by 480. So 320 by 240.
Yeah, it's a small image. And like I said, think of the going back days, like your old Nokia cell phones when they first started coming out in color. We're talking like that kind of size image. Okay, if you can have that size or smaller, you can put that on the SD card, put it into the 500, and you can pull that up on the 500 screen to view it, or you can send it in Fusion to another Fusion radio. You can send the picture.
That was the second one. I was like, you said send it. Please elaborate.
Yep.
Fusion or slow scan?
No, just Fusion. So just
Fusion.
Fusion on there. Yep. And we've had that picture transmission option with the old camera microphone on there. We didn't have room for the camera microphone on the 500 because of basically for all intents and purposes, we're running audio and speaker and mic and everything out to the front. It takes up data lines and stuff. So we have that on there. So now we have improved the ability to read and write multiple backup files. So you can have up to 10 backup files saved and loaded using an SD card now.
Nice.
So now what this means is, like, let's say you got a multifamily home. Okay, like my wife and I, she's a ham too. So I could save a profile just for me, or I could save a profile for her. We could select it. Or like I do a lot of traveling. I drive down to Huntsville, I drive down to Hamvention, that kind of thing. So now I can actually import different kind of memory setups and all this kind of stuff like that for when I'm traveling now. And you have that option on there.
That's cool.
Okay.
Good.
So improved the, go ahead.
Really, really fast. How big of an SD card do you need for the updates?
16 is fine. The max the radio will hold is 32, but you can do like an 8 card, a 16 card. The firmware updates are not that huge at all.
Okay.
Yeah. The firmware is small usually.
Very small. Yep.
Okay.
So you can now do wires X functions without distinguishing between the bands. Previously, if you hit the wires X button to do the handshake, if it was on the wrong band, it would tell you to switch to the other band. Yeah. But that's gone now. You can do wires X from either of them. Okay. Improve the ability to call wires X functions from the current channel during PMG mode. So if you remember, PMG mode is priority memory grouping. So you can kind of scoop the channels you want to kind of quickly together, those 5 channels in there. Well, before you used to have to exit out of it to be able to use wires X. Well, one of the things people had said is that, I monitor a couple different wires X repeaters. If I'm in PMG mode, I just want to switch to that, hit the wires X button. That wasn't allowed there. Now we improve that to be able to do that on there.
Gotcha. Okay. I've never tried that function. I use PMG quite a bit, and I actually use it quite a bit on my FTM 6000. Because I have it in a little backpack that I take with me when I go places, and when I get to where I'm going, I find a local repeater, local simplex, and I add it to 6.52 in my All-Star node that I keep in there, and I just scan the PMG, and I find the PMG, I find it very useful in both my 500 and my 6000s.
Oh yeah, but it's great in a mobile environment. It's super great because you can throw that stuff in right away.
Right.
So we improved the channel registration basically between PMG transferring from the VFO to the band and memory key and back and forth, because what was happening is PMG doesn't matter if you're in VFO or doesn't matter if you're in memory, but sometimes it would have some issues. So we kind of improved that on here. Now, Jason, Mr. APRS.
Yes.
Here we are. Are you ready? So we added the heading up compass beacon details display for you.
Okay.
So now people want heads up. They didn't want it kind of the compass style moving around. You can do the heads up on there. So we added that.
Okay.
We added the ability to call the station list screen with the long press of the sub dial when APRS is on. So you don't know before, if you remember, the easiest way to do it was that customizable favorites list. You used to have to do that, then select station. Now we did it that, hey, you want to pull up the station list, just push and hold that sub dial, long press of it. When APRS function is turned on, boom, it will pop up the station list right away for you.
Okay. A little bit quicker. Yep. All right. Good.
Permitting activity of the QSY function with the short press of the main dial while displaying a beacon with the QSY information.
Okay.
So that's nice. So if you ever get a beacon, I know some people do that. It's really nice if they do, but hey, they'll have an APRS node beaconing out their repeater or what frequency they may be on if they're traveling. I'll do that when I'm going. I'll be on the Fusion VHF simplex frequency. And with it now, if my beacon pops up and I have that info in there, just push the main dial while the beacon's on the screen. Boom, it's going to QSY you to that voice channel.
Okay.
And then, of course, we also did a few other minor little functions that, you know, are just kind of cleaning up the code. Once we put that in there, it's nothing feature added or anything like that on there. But those are the big ones that came out with the FTM 500 too. One of the things I will tell people is that check your firmware. If you're buying a new FTM 500, odds are you may already have the new firmware in there.
Yeah.
So don't feel you got to get the radio and update it right away. If you've already purchased the radio before this week, yeah, you've had it in your hands, I should say. You probably will need to do the firmware update. Don't worry, folks. It's not something scary. It's not anything like that. It's literally loading to the SD card, putting it in the SD card, and boom, updating.
I had a guy one time back when I used to sell Chinese radios. He called me up one time and he's like, "Hey, I just upgraded to the latest firmware on, I think it was a TYT radio. I can't recall for sure." And he said, "I just upgraded to the latest firmware and it broke something." I don't remember what it was. This was several years ago. And I said, "Okay, well, where did you get the latest firmware?" And he said he downloaded it from my website. And I'm like, "Yeah, they have newer firmware than what I have displayed on my website, so you didn't get the latest one." But here's the kicker. I said, "What did you have on the radio before that?" And he didn't know. He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "How do you know you're upgrading then?" Look at your version numbers, people, for crying out loud. Seriously, look at your version numbers. What is the version number on the newest firmware?
You're gonna ask me all these hard questions. Okay, so the main is going to be 110, and then the sub is also going to be 110 on there.
Okay.
The DSP is going to be 720.
Okay, good. So do you have to? Does it do all that? Does it upgrade all those things at the same time? Do you have to download different files and do it like 3 separate times?
No, when you download the firmware package, you and once again, kind of the same thing. Check your firmware, but then also too is in the zip there is a PDF file that folks literally go step by step. Just follow it, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Good. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I hesitate to ask this because I already know the answer, but people have been asking this, so I was waiting for you to say it, and you didn't say it, and I didn't think you would, but QWERTY keyboard.
No QWERTY keyboard.
No QWERTY keyboard.
No
okay.
QWERTY keyboard.
That was a question. I put that.
I know. Yeah. There's a half a dozen questions that people ask every time John comes onto the stream. Gosh,
let's knock out another one.
Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
You interested in single sideband on 2 meter and 440 coming up?
Like an all mode VHF UHF radio?
Yes. So for satellites, I would love to get a single sideband 2 meter radio from y'all.
Yeah, no, the only thing that we'd have would do single sideband right now is the 991 out of the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I've that FT847 that's no longer made. I have sitting behind me is great for satellite work. So, okay. What else, Frank?
We got the speculations, the 200. Question: does Yaesu have a comparable radio or radio coming down the pipe to compete with the IC705?
Yeah, that's one of the speculation questions. Go ahead, John.
It's always there. We're in research and development. On all the times. Our policy is that, you know, if the radio is not released or we haven't made an announcement, we can't discuss about it. You know, as I've said all along, we have good things coming. You know, we've been saying this, you know, through COVID, through this, as you kind of see, you know, the 500, the 710, the 10, the 101, all that kind of stuff like that. We are in research and development. But I'm going to tell you this straight out. We're not going to rush something to the market. And I know people are like, well, then that's how you lose customers. Not really. You know, we take our time because we look at it, you know, our SDR receivers, you know, I go back to the 101, you know, people are always like, you know, it took so long for you guys to get the 101 out. Well, actually, no, it didn't. If people understood or knew what was going on in the background with the R&D we were doing, you'd actually be really surprised. And I was surprised. You know, obviously I'm lucky enough that, you know, I was an outsider and then I became an insider. And then you walk in, you're like, okay, now I'm going to see where everybody's sitting on their butt doing nothing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot going on, but you know, we're always in research and development. And I think if you take a look over the last 3 years, even, you know, since 2020, if you see what we had come out, I think you can see that we're releasing it based on what we see in the market demand and what can actually help fill the market.
Correct. Yaesu came out with more radios during COVID and after the Japanese chip fire than anybody has. I mean, people were speculating if Kenwood was like not even going to come back, and they never really went away 100%, but they haven't released anything new in like 4 years either. So we're going to see that HT come out next January. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Yaesu had how many, John, since 2025 new radios?
Well, we had the 10, we had the 10, the 710, the 200, the 300, the 6,000, the 500,
and the 5.
Mm-hmm. We all released that within the last 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's Yaesu's done an excellent job with keeping up with releasing new radios, and a lot of those are similar. Like the 2 and the 300 are similar, and the 5 was similar to the 3 that they. And again, this was all on another stream that John and I did. The 5 was similar to the 3, but the 3 was replaced because of all the changes that had to be made because of hardware issues,
correct,
supply chain issues. But they took a lot of feedback on the 3 and implemented it into the 5. Customer feedback on the 3 and implemented it into the 5. So no, it's really hats off to Yaesu for doing all that. So that's cool. What anything else, Frank?
I got some general questions here.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
When are we going to get is this under speculation? No.
Probably.
This is probably.
If they're talking about some sort of new radio, it is. But go ahead.
When we're going to get a HF radio with more than just one antenna? I think the only radio, the 101 is one left, and the 300 and 1200 only has one antenna. This is from Don.
Yeah, so the 101 does have multiple antennas because it has multiple receivers.
Right.
And that's usually the rule of thumb. You have multiple receivers, you're going to have multiple antenna ports on there. You got to remember, though, when it comes into it, not everybody wants to. It's changed. When I got back into amateur radio back in like the mid 90s, everybody wanted that huge desk HF radio, right? Because that was the Cadillac.
Yeah.
You bring your friends over, it's like, look at what I could do because I have HF. You
all the buttons no code and knobs.
right.
But as like the HF demand comes up, the 10 was created because someone wanted the performance of the 101, but not the price of the 101. Well, that kind of translates into dual receivers. So the 10 only has a single receiver, but you don't necessarily need multiple antenna ports on there. Same thing with the 710 on there. I think you're gonna start to see that trend, because that's kind of a lot with a lot of radios. If it's not the multi-receiver, multi kind of thing like that, you're going to see that. The 3000 and 1200 were good classic examples of that. The 3 was the little single brother receiver of the 5, one receiver, one antenna port. 1200 was kind of the littler sister of the 3000. A lot of difference in receiver, more so up than down conversion, but once again, single receiver. Same thing kind of translated over to the lines there. I know people ask all the time, like, when are you going to do tap outs and stuff like that on there? We really don't. Plus, also, too, is that when you're coming into the 10 and the FT710 line, it's important to understand that, remember, these are SDR radios. So when, unlike the 101, which has more flexibility, the single antenna receiver is because in that way it takes and feeds actually sort of like a dual receiver in there, but that's what allows you to do that split out, and you can have an active signal on your monitor on something else than you do the other one. So it's kind of a receiver to antenna ratio that's there.
Okay.
So how would you recommend, if I have an antenna plus a beverage antenna I want to run, or a just a receive antenna, run that to a radio? Would that just be a split or something?
Switch.
Yeah, I would say a switch. And to be honest with you, I've seen a few out there, and we've told a few. Oh, good.
I want to run the beverage, so that would be my receive only antenna, and then have the transmit, a separate antenna for the transmit.
Get out there, and there's a couple different ones out there. There's automatic antenna switches on there, because some people want to run like an SDR. I've seen them out there. We don't make it as Yaesu, but the aftermarkets that people have told us about, it fits that exact kind of scenario where you can have a receive antenna and a transmit antenna, and then basically interface it into this box. And then that actually will plug in to some of our data ports on the back of the radio that when you key, it senses it. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it gives like an amp sense. It uses the amp sets. So when you push the PTT, you like have to engage it. Once again, it's not made by us, so we don't test. So I don't have the exact particulars, but a lot of people have done that actually on our older radios, which aren't SDR, or like on the 991, which isn't an SDR. So they have that. So there are solutions, third party, that would work for you.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. Frank, anything else?
Someone's ragging us for being cold in Texas.
No,
recommendations.
It's in the 50s today. It's not cold here yet. So
God, that's bikini weather for Wisconsin.
Here's kind of a general-ish question. This is coming from Twitch. What do y'all think about big radio trends in ham radio in 2000 or this year or next year?
You mean, I'm assuming size? Is that what he's getting at, maybe?
What trends? What do y'all folks will be the big trend in ham radio in 2024? Anything to buy or get ready for?
That's an open-ended question.
It is. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you from the manufacturer side. I think we're coming to an HF conscience again. Personally, we're starting to see an uptick in the HF stuff. The bands are getting a little bit better. I constantly am starting to see more and more active reports on 6 and 10 meters are really opening on there. We actually see a lot of that. I'll tell you, because and I love it. My house is getting redone from storm damage finally, so my antennas are down. But 10-meter fusion. Oh wow, is that taking off?
Really?
Oh, yes, 29,250. And it's great because you can sit, put your radio in GM mode. It will beacon out the minute someone sees a beacon on there. They try making contacts. It is absolutely amazing of what is taking place on 10 with fusion, and just at 50 watts too. I mean, people. I had a guy who was in California, and he's banging into the UK and Japan on fusion 10 meters.
Wow,
with 50 watts.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's great. Huh. And the only radio that'll do 10-meter fusion right now is the 991A, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just making sure I wasn't missing something, but okay. That would be fun. Interesting. Okay. Okay. This is a good one here. Would like to hear details of the Yaesu Club repeater program.
Oh yeah. So our repeater program was renewed in November. We have it going. We've had it going for quite a while. We had it when the DR1X first came out way back in the day.
Right.
And then we still have it going on with the DR2X. So if your club is looking for a repeater, our DR2X repeaters are available at a substantially reduced cost. It's been that way for quite a while. It's $700 for a brand new repeater with a 3-year warranty on it. You can also pay the $900, which is a $200 increase on the price for the version. That upgraded version will give you the ability to do what they call IMRS, which is like using a LAN card in the repeater. So you can talk repeater to repeater, but not have to use the internet. So like if you have two in the same stack and you want VHF to talk to VHF or UHF to UHF or however you want it to do, it doesn't even have to be in the same room. As long as you can get the IP traffic between point A and point B, you're good to go. And our repeaters are also FM capable too, full FM too. So it's not just a digital only repeater. And then you can also do mixed mode. You can hook All-Star directly into it, IRLP into it. You can run Wires X through it. Pretty versatile. They're always have been VHF or UHF capable. So you can program them right from the front of the repeater. So the panel on there, you just basically turn on, no extra software. Hey, I want a VHF, put your frequencies in. You want a UHF, put your frequencies in. And it will even do unidirectional crossband. So it can receive on UHF, transmit on VHF, or you can program it to receive on VHF and transmit on UHF. Once again, for $700 or $500, go to our System Fusion website. So that's the word System Fusion together, one word, .yaesu.com. You'll scroll down to the homepage. and you'll see the link for it there. It is only open to the North America market, so that would be Canada and United States. And people have asked, like, can I get it in Mexico? Can I get it in other countries and stuff like that? No, you can't. Unfortunately, the program I'm talking about is only for the US.
Okay. You don't. Well, two questions about the DR2X, because I'm not as familiar with that one. You used to have an HRI 200 box. You don't need that anymore, do you?
You do if you want to directly connect the repeater to Wires X.
To Wires X, okay.
Yep. Otherwise, you can use an HRI 200 to feed it over the repeater over the air. Or you can go ahead and use the PDN node if you want to do digital over the air to it. The PDN just can't do the room hosting on there, but it can do a feed. So if your club always connects into another room, you can just take a 200, 300, something like that, and just point it right at the repeater.
Okay.
Now, nice thing about doing it over the air, Jason, is that the DR2X actually has dual active receivers on that repeater. So you can program the A receiver and the B receiver to go ahead and be receiving at the same time on two different frequencies, even on different bands if you want. But what you can do is you could select one to be priority. So I've worked with some clubs is they said, okay, hey, we have our normal club repeater. The A side is this frequency. And then we want to integrate Wires X. But if someone's chatty Cathy on Wires X, we want to be able to talk over it. So what they do is they have the repeater normally operate on the A side. They have Wires X come into the B side, but the A side is priority. And with our repeaters, the moment someone talks in that priority channel, it will just knock the other person right out.
Oh, okay. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's a good trick. Okay, good. Okay. And I thought of one other thing. What was it? In analog mode. Does it have, because I know one of the things, the club that I'm mainly involved with here in the North Texas area, they got one of the DR1X when they were brand new. And one of the things, and several of the clubs around here did, is that it had no built-in courtesy tone. And it was difficult, not impossible, but difficult to interface it to an external repeater controller. So how does the DR2X differ on that, or does it?
So some yes and some no. So there is no courtesy tone in there, largely based on the fact is that digital doesn't really have a courtesy tone.
Right.
And because the DR2X is capable of doing mixed mode at the repeater. So you can go in digital into the repeater and come out analog with just the repeater itself. You don't need an external anything like that on there.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't have a courtesy tone on there. But when it comes to interfacing into the controller, because that was one of the things that I dived into. Now, when I got my first DR2X repeaters back like in 2014, and I took the thing apart, to find out, how's it work and all that kind of jazz. It was a little bit difficult. The DR2X offers the ability for, if you want to have your controller as an audio gate only, you can use that 10-pin mini DIN on there. If you want it full control of the repeater, you still have that D sub 15 connector on there. So it's all going to depend on how you want to interface it. For me, one of my repeaters, I have All-Star. Now, with that All-Star, I did it really simple. I just want the audio feed. Now, here's the cool part about the DR2X. You could set your DR2X repeater in full digital mode. Digital in, digital out only, no FM. And then you can attach your All-Star. The repeater will transcode the audio back to analog, send it analog down All-Star. So anybody listening on All-Star, you'll hear recovered digital audio. Now, if you want to go talk back on All-Star to it, you'll go into the repeater, just like you are talking like a microphone almost for it, and then it will convert it back over to digital for you.
If I want to key up the repeater with my FT5 in digital mode, will it spit out All-Star analog on the other end?
Yep, it will go. Repeat. Yeah, that's the great part. So the repeater
it'll go both ways.
Yep. So the repeater will repeat 100% digital via RF. But then the way you can interface it in the All-Star node into there, then the All-Star node will only hear analog, and it sends the analog audio down All-Star out for you.
That's pretty slick.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty slick. I may have to form a club and go buy a club repeater.
Well, okay. Here's the deal. It's not just clubs.
It's not just clubs. Okay.
No, we have people that have bought it for backup, because the repeater also runs on 120 volt AC or 12 volts DC. And we've had Aries Racy clubs that have bought it and they use it as that emergency repeater. Or people have said, for $500, you can't find a more heavy duty remote receive site.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. You said systemfusion.yaesu.com.
Correct. Yep. And then you'll see that, and then you'll go down to the bottom. You'll see the link. You click on the link. It's a PDF fillable form. Fill out that form, send it to the program address. That goes into our queue system. And then we will ask for billing information on there, just so we know, because because then it splits off the information. We review it because it is a program, and there have been people that have actually done the program, because we do have some stipulations, like keep it on the air for a year, don't sell it for a year, those kind of things like that. And we've had people that have actually done that where they violated terms, but once you get it approved, it goes right over. And we say 12 to 14 weeks just to be on the safe side, but on an average, we're shipping and delivering anywhere from 2 days to about 5 weeks, depending.
Okay. Cool. That's pretty slick. That is pretty slick. Okay. All right. Well, good. This has been excellent information. I appreciate everybody's participation tonight. Frank, did we have anything else that we might have missed question wise?
Oh yeah, if we can go to recommendations here. The ones I've been saving is I have both the 5 and the 500. What do you recommend to replace or add to the FTDX 3000?
If you want to do a true comparison of features and design specs, the 3000 would be the lateral transition to it would be the FTDX 10. Performance wise, you could go down to the 710 and still get the same or better performance than the 3000.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I follow what you're saying. I'd never, because there was I'm gonna miss them all. There was a 1200, a 1500, a 3000, and a 5000. Did I miss anything?
No 1500.
There was no 15.
Nope. Yep. So the 5000 was like the 101. It had dual receivers, everything like that, creme de la creme, all the knobs and functions out to the radio. Then it went down to the 3000, which was the same receiver, different kind of filtering, a little less filtering, single receiver, some of the knobs on there, but more kind of a knob menu system. And then the 1200 came along, which was a different receiver architecture. Still good performance, but kind of more so menu system, but a full function knob, some knobs that are out there. 101, kind of same thing. A lot of knobs out there, some menu items, but not a lot. The FTDX 10 single receiver, not as much filtering as the 101. And then you had the 710, which is different receiver architecture, still an SDR. But you said it good. I heard you say it the other day. I think it was like when you're talking about Black Friday. There's no roofing filters in the 710. There's only bandpass filtering, because in place of the roofing filters, we do dithering with that signal. We do the DSP, and then that's where the AESS comes into play and balances and filters out with audio than an actual mechanical filter.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's right. Okay. Hey, Don, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you being here tonight, Don. Don's always in the chat, so it's good to have you. Good to have you tonight, Don.
And it was good seeing him, and actually, like you said in there, it was good seeing in Huntsville. Yeah. I actually got to see more people that kind of like, when I come on the shows or even jump into my show, like kind of like, hey, da-da-da. It's like, hey, I got to put a name to the call sign in the face and everything.
Yeah. That's nice to do that for sure. Okay, so Larry's asking, so I think, Larry, we talked about this. But it's still, this is something new that I learned tonight, so I'm gonna let John answer it again just briefly. Can you do All-Star and Wires X at the same time on the DRX2? The way I read that is, it's not like DMR where you can use them at the exact same time, but you can do cross mode back and forth to them. So John, you could probably say that better than I can.
Correct. So Wires X can operate in analog or digital. So the biggest thing to think of is that you can have both pointing to the repeater, but the issue you're going to run into is if someone's using, let's say, All-Star on the repeater and a Wires X signal comes in, so in digital, you're going to have some conflict that's on there.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have both nodes pointed to it, yes, you can, just don't have one node connected. So if you got your All-Star node connected to something, disconnect your Wires X node. Make sure that's just standalone node. Don't make sure it's not connected to a room. And then vice versa. Pull your All-Star off and then go ahead and do that. But as Billy Mace would say. There is a thing that we've helped customers do.
Okay.
That it's a little in depth, so it's not a 5-minute thing, but you can actually add on another transmitter, and with adding on that other transmitter, you in essence, by just adding a transmitter to the DR2X, you can actually have a dual frequency, dual repeater, with one side being digital and one side being analog.
Okay.
And I've helped the customer do that. It's not for the faint of heart. You got to know how to solder and wire and
okay.
You got to follow the electron through the air, but you can do it. I've done it. It's pretty darn interesting. And in that scenario, in that case, yes, you can have both pointed at the same time. And yes, you can bridge both at the same time. Or, as I've worked on and helped a couple customers, you can take a PDN and you take an HRI 200, and what you do is you put that HRI 200 to act in analog mode, and I helped the customer direct wire that to an all-star node. So it's an HRI 200 directly to the all-star node in analog, and then that connects into a room which Wires X allows you to cross modulate in the Wires X network. Then when that analog signal comes in, then it will go ahead and it will come out over the other PDN node, which would then feed the repeater in digital. The only problem is you have a digital analog conversion, which if you have a weak analog signal, it kind of sounds crappy on digital.
Yeah.
But it does exist.
That sounds like fun.
It was. I tell you, I gotta
like fun.
I gotta tell you, I have the title like National Sales Manager, Fusion Expert, but I'll tell you, sometimes I'm like on the tech bench, like, okay, yeah, let's sit down and work on this. Let's have a meeting, with the customer, and they're like, oh my God, it works. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's ham radio operators being ham radio operators. If you're doing stuff like that, that's pretty fun. Good. Okay. Yeah, that's I got the system. Yeah, Don was in there earlier. He's like, sounds like you're buying a new repeater tonight, Jason. I'm like, well, probably not tonight, but I am intrigued. I will put it that way. I am intrigued by it. So good. All right, Vern, thanks for the super chat, buddy. He says that his wife Renee says thank you to John for answering all her questions at Huntsville. She ended up buying a 710.
Oh, good.
So yeah.
I have a good question here. I missed it when we're talking about your service center. But Lon has I have a old FT980. Sometimes it receives, sometimes it doesn't. Is there a list of service centers that you will recommend that will work on the old transceivers?
That's a very good question. So if we cannot support the radio, and let me clarify, that's a good question. So who brought that up? Think
Lon, let me undo that.
Okay,
Lon,
thank you. That's a very good question. And a lot of people ask, what can we support? We can support anything that we have the actual authorized genuine Yaesu parts for it. We, as a manufacturer, and I just want to clear this up because some people like say, oh no, you just don't want to do it. We as a manufacturer, we can't substitute a part out. So if it's a radio that's no longer production and we don't have parts for that radio, we can't just look up and saying, okay, hey, this is the equivalent part. We can substitute that out. We can't, because then that goes against FCC type acceptance of the radios. However, if you run in our service department, Stephanie Fears. Stephanie is one of the I'm impressed. She's probably not watching this, but I'll send this part of the video to her. Stephanie is amazing for customer service. I have never seen anybody that does it like Stephanie. People email me, John, hey, how can I get this fixed or something? I will email to Stephanie, and especially even like on Mondays, like I'll email to her 8 a.m. my time, by like 9 or 10 a.m. California time, which is a couple hours later. She's already replying back saying, hey, here's if you need to repair this or stuff. Point I say that though is because if you go ahead and contact Stephanie, we have a list of people or businesses and stuff. They're not part of Yaesu. They're not authorized service centers or nothing like that. But we give the list saying they may be able to help with you, but you got to do it at your own risk. And Stephanie has that magical list, and it is a pretty extensive list. And there are some people on there that you'll find they only deal with specialized radios. They do this and this and this and this. Others are all across the board, but just contact us through the contact us page. Just you want to get customer service, and she'll go ahead and be able to direct you to, or give you that list, or send it to you in an email on there.
Cool. Good. Yeah, people are agreeing with you about how great Stephanie is in the chat. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. She's absolutely amazing. I mean, I've had customers that they don't get the email, because we'll send an email like when a service ticket is done and the radios come back to them. We send them the copy, like the invoice, and inside there's a tracking number. Well, someone's email system will, zap the email or something. And Stephanie does get busy sometimes. So someone will try calling and they can't get a hold of her, like, hey, what's this and this and this and this? And I'll forward it on to Stephanie. And Stephanie is just like, oh, yeah, no, here you go. Right away. Sorry you didn't get that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. Okay. Well, hey, John, I really do appreciate your time tonight. I knew that people would want to hear about this topic, but I underestimated how many people. We had a good 550, 560 people watching the whole time, so that's excellent. So thank you to everybody for being here. Definitely make plans to go see John at in Orlando in February. If you're not already doing that, you should. And can learn more about some of the new stuff and put your hands on it. So we'll do some updates to the. Well, I'm going to go update my firmware on my 500, and then I might do it. And Freddie Mac's already in there. He's a Ham Radio Crusader. He did a lot of videos on the 500 when it first came out, and did some really good information on his channel about that. So he's like, well, I got to go do that now. So that's good.
And just to say too is we are in our off season right now. So we do have our podcast that we're doing weekly now. So if anybody's interested in doing that, but we're going to be starting up our educational stuff on our YouTube channel, Yaesu USA Official. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing a walkthrough on the 500, which is going to go ahead and cover some of the basic stuff on there that people will be able to go ahead and do. We're going to do some stuff on the FT5. But I think, Jason, I was going to kind of maybe when we got closer to Orlando and the start of the Hamfest season, but I'll give you the scoop here.
Okay.
So last year at Huntsville, we kind of did a little bit of a beta test. And we then did it up at HRO Superfest in Milwaukee. We got a resounding yes, please do it this year at our shows that we're attending. So right now we're going to be attending Orlando. We're going to be doing some dealer stuff, specifically dealers in March. We have some events coming up in April that we're putting the final touches on, but I don't want to announce it just yet. At Hamvention, we're looking at trying to do this. At CPAC, if anybody goes there. And we have a couple other shows there, Huntsville, of course, and stuff. We are going to actually be doing educational classes for Wires X stuff and some other stuff on there. So we did a 2-hour class at Milwaukee, and it was held on a Friday at 3 p.m. And we were like, okay, that's the best time that they can get us in there and stuff like that. And I know people are, I'm going to tell you the number of people are like, well, that's not many, but kind of figure Friday in Milwaukee in September, it's pretty big. We had 32 people attend this 2-hour class. And the first hour was kind of going over the concept of Wires X. The second hour, we actually had a full Wires X node in there. We showed people how to connect, how to search, what it all means on the screen. And people were just absolutely like, wow, like, hey, thank you for doing it. So we are going to go ahead and continue to do that through all the different events that we're doing there. We have to work with the event sponsors and holders and stuff like that to make sure there's classroom. But if you're going to any of these, I know a lot of people do watch your channel. Just be aware we're going to be holding these.
Okay. Somebody brought up a good question. Well, that was Dawn again. Of course, it's Dawn. So, have you heard about the new HamCon Zion in?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what are you guys doing with that?
We're looking at logistics. And the reason I say that is because we do have shows that we normally do, and we always get asked. Like right now, our list, the last tabulated list, we have 312 shows that we were asked to do in 2024.
Wow.
That includes the shows that we do already, but like total for, hey, can you come do our show, this show? So unfortunately, we have to prune them down and stuff like that on there. We are looking at trying to attend Zion, but people have to remember we have to get staff, and Zion's kind of falling at a kind of an apex where we have some other things that are going on. So people have asked, are we going? We are trying to do every single attempt that we can. and we're trying to wrap that up here, hopefully within the next couple of weeks to finalize the schedule.
Good. It's going to be the Rocky Mountain Division Convention for the ARRL, and they've been doing pretty good. They've reached out to it. Well, you may view this as good or bad. They've reached out to a bunch of YouTubers, and we're all promoting it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not, but they seem to be.
Of you. No,
yeah, for a few, yeah. But they seem to be. They said they sent me an email a couple weeks ago, and they were asking some questions. They were like, "Hey, we'd like to come on your show and do this," and I was like, "Yes, absolutely. We're gonna totally do that. Let's do it closer because it's not till July,
right?
We don't want to talk about it right now, but let's do it closer to the time. But so we're gonna be interviewing them on one of these Sunday night live streams sometime. Probably Q2 of next year, Q1, Q2 of next year, something like that. But yeah, I suspect. I mean, the way that they've been talking about it and planning it for so long, I suspect it's going to be a really good show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can pull off with it. So, yeah, and it's right there next to the Zion National Park, which is of course a POTA spot. So we're all excited about that as well.
But, yeah, and you know, we want to go to all these shows just kind of there, and I know they talked about it, and like I said, it's just it's a logistical thing, because we actually, you know, in addition, we do dealer trainings and dealer stuff too, so it's kind of trying to balance it out. But I know I've been in talks with what can't I think of his name, Scotty? No. He is from I can't the name escapes me right now.
But I know who you're talking about, but I can't. Yeah, I've actually emailed from I've got emails from 3 different people over there, so I'm not sure exactly who's in charge.
Yep.
But yeah, okay, all right, good. Well, good. I hope you guys can make that one because I've got high hopes for it. It's going to be the first year, obviously, so who knows what it'll look like, but I have high hopes for it. So
I kind of want to go to those ski resorts and do that summer skiing stuff that they have, that downtown stuff. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Okay. All right, good. Well, once again, John, thank you very much for your time tonight. I know it's a weekend, so I know it's sometimes challenging to get you on here. So thank you for clocking in today and giving us all the latest on Yaesu. You guys do go check out the Yaesu products at your favorite retailer. Again, I like to support Gigaparts and R&L, but HRO has the stuff. Main Trading Company, somebody mentioned them earlier. DX Engineering, Associated Radio, whoever else is out there. So a lot of good retailers out there. So go shop at the one that you like best and see what kind of Yaesu products there are out there. But because this is the time. But and we'll see if we can. We'll see if we can challenge Yaesu on their supply chain issues, see if they plan far enough ahead for that. So it's all good. All right, John, hang out for a second. Frank wants to say one thing, and then we're going to shut it down. Go ahead, Frank. I saw your message if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jason. I just wanted to say real fast, for the winter season, Tank Radio hoodies are up on Grapevine Amateur Radio. I'm going to toss those links in the chat here in a second, along with my sticker packs. My sticker packs are out, and you get 5 stickers, man. That's a pretty good deal for $10. And finally, this is the last year I'm selling my Tank Radio coins. So if you want a Tank Radio coin, go ahead and definitely get your coin, because they're going to be taken down at the end of the year. Let's just look at that hoodie, man. That is an awesome hoodie.
Who did that design for you?
A guy in Discord. I worked with him. He actually designed 3 logos for me. The new TR logo with the tank treads, which I'm showing now. Yep. And a new, nope, not that one. There we go.
That one right there with Abrams. The tank on it.
Yeah. Okay. And he also did the new Tank Radio and a little rant style branding. Yeah. I really like that. And then this Never Say Never. I think this was Corky QRP. It's actually the back of my teeth.
James did that?
Yeah, that's and funny. I asked him, can I make this a sticker? He goes, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I need to get I'd like to get a design like that for a hoodie of my own.
But, I wanted a big something on the back last year, but I didn't have an idea logo that big, so this year I had that done back in October.
Well, you should find out what size John wears and send him one, because it's got cigars on it, so he'd probably wear it as some free advertising for you. I bet
cigars
I don't know. We'll see.
There's a lot of goodies in that, so go ahead and order that and check out that new crest. That new crest is amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
It's been awesome, Jason. We had a good night tonight.
Yeah, good night. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who joined the chat. Team Replay, if you have any questions, do put your comments in the chat. If you guys want me to bring John back on, which we're going to bring John back on, of course we will. But we will talk to him about something else. If you have a suggestion for what other topics you want to hear about, it's always fun to hear from the vendors or the manufacturers that are out there. So 73 to all. Everyone have a good weekend. And Cyber Monday deal is still going on tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll talk about it then. So 73, guys. Thanks for joining tonight.
Bye.